Another question that we get asked all the time, and I get asked this from family members, people from out of town, even people that I know in town. And they're like, Chris, I want to build a house or I want to buy a house, but where do I start? How do I know what builder to choose? There's so many of them out there. So that's a topic that we wanted to cover, and we just wanted to talk about some questions that you can ask any builder that'll help you qualify whether or not they're a good fit for you.
Yeah, so we've come up with 7 questions. We're gonna tell you what these questions are, why we think they're important, and ones that we think that you should ask every builder. No matter we recommend that you go interview at least 3 or 4 different builders when you're starting this phase, just to see, because every builder builds differently. Every builder, even though they say custom builder, some of that custom stuff is different for every builder. Their processes are different, and people are different. We might get along better with one builder than the other. That's important, especially if you're going to be dealing with this same person for the next 12 to 18 months trying to get this dream house done. So one of the questions that we like to ask is where they have built. So Chris, why is that important to ask where they built?
So I think the main reason is you want to know that they've built in the area that you're wanting to be in. You want to make sure that they are up to date on current codes, that they know what is required. Also, another area that's important is like if they haven't built in a certain part of town, there are certain areas that are harder to build in. Have they ever built in an area that has a floodplain or a creek or has a retaining wall behind it? Or have they ever built in a neighborhood in general? Or have they built on raw land? There's just so many different factors, and it's a way different project if we're talking about, hey, I'm gonna build in a neighborhood, water's there, sewer's there, electric's there, all that stuff's really done for you. Or you gotta build on raw land and you gotta coordinate and bring all those things in. So if you're interviewing a builder and you wanna build on raw land, but he's never built on raw land, that may be an issue. And so it's something you want to definitely address. So asking them where they built will determine whether or not they're a good fit for you, or if they can build in the area that you want to build in.
Yeah, it's always that's one of the tricky things. It's like things change. I mean, we're really experienced in Edmond, so some of those things is like, hey, we've got lots of ties to the inspectors, to the city process, things like that we're able to help ease that process along quite a bit, just because we know a lot about Edmond's processes. We haven't built in Goldsby. We'd have no idea what to do there, but it's something that we probably could do if we wanted to. And it's not really saying no just because someone hasn't built in that neighborhood before. That may not be a showstopper, but it's definitely something that you want to consider.
Yeah, you definitely want to consider it for sure. And then the next thing is how long have they been in the industry?
Yeah, that's a big thing. Experience is huge, right? The longer you've been in the industry, the more you've seen and the more that you've done. A lot of the times you want to know that the longer they've been there, most of the times their subs have been with them for quite a long time as well. So you have that reputation so that you know that the house that maybe you saw 2 or 3 years ago that you really liked from that builder, those same subs are probably going to be the same people doing that same work on the house that you're going to build. So you know that you're going to get the same type of quality, the same type of expectations that you have.
I agree. Another thing that a lot of people don't like to point out, but I want to bring up is, there's always going to be something that goes wrong. There's always going to be issues, and there's going to be problems. The more experience your builder has, meaning the longer he's been doing this type of work, the more experience he's going to have in overcoming problems and solving those problems and turning them into solutions and making it into a better project as a whole. Because at the end of the day, there's going to be problems. But if they don't have that experience on how to deal with those problems, then it becomes a lot bigger issue than it actually is. And so that's why we think that having that experience is very valuable.
And one more thing to bring up is that, hey, if you're looking for a builder that doesn't have a lot of experience, say, less than 3 years, then, there's a lot of builders that start and then go under after that same time period. If you have someone that's, been longer than that, that they have, clients that keep building houses with them, so they know they build a good house. You know that they are going to be around for a while, so that 5 years down the road, if something goes wrong, they can come back and address some of those issues.
Absolutely, and that's what leads us right into our next question. Really, is what is their reputation? So that's a question you can't really ask someone point blank, right? Like, hey, what's your reputation? What do people think of you?
It's amazing.
Because obviously they're going to tell you all good things, right? So one thing that we actually recommend is talk to people in the community that you're wanting to build in. Talk to vendors. See if they know who that builder is. See if they know anything about him. Go to a lumber yard. Go to a lighting company. Talk to a designer. See if they know who that builder is. Figure out what type of reputation they have, because that will tell you a lot about the type of home builder that they are.
Yeah, and this may sound, a little contrary, but we say, hey, when you're interviewing other builders, ask them about other builders. So
Yeah.
if you come to Infinity Custom Homes, I'd love for you to ask, hey, I'm also talking with, so-and-so, what do you think about them? And vice versa, I'd love for you to ask, when you go ask somebody else, say, hey, what do you think about Infinity Custom Homes? Because, the community is pretty tight.
It is.
And within the community who good builders are, who not so good builders are, and you can let people know honestly, hey, here's what I think. So
Yeah. And then what type of home are you wanting to build? And has that builder built that type of home before? If you're wanting a French cottage, have they ever built a French cottage? Do they even know what that style looks like? Have they ever built a modern home? Have they ever built a house that is a barn-dominium? So you have to classify like what type of house you want, but also have they done that type of construction?
yeah, and same for size, right? There's a lot of homeowners that are builders that say, yeah, they're really good. They know how to build, a 3,000 square foot house or less, but they have no idea when you get to a 10,000 square foot house what to do. I've never done anything like this before. It's completely different when you get to that sort of scale. You're doing a lot more structural issues, things that these smaller builders may have never thought of before. When you're doing a 3,000 square foot house, it's just not, oh, I'm building 3,000 square foot houses and putting them together. It's not that simple, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Matt brings up a very good point. You have to really think about, like, once you jump up to that next scale of house, the differences in finishes are so drastic. The types of windows you're going to use, the types of floors you're going to put down, the types of appliances you're going to put in. And if you aren't familiar with those differences and the different specifications and qualifications that come with those higher end products, you're not going to be able to turn out a good product. So you have to make sure that whoever you choose is building the type of home that you want to build.
Yep. The next thing that we think you should do is look for reviews. So we talked about reputation, that's kind of with other builders. Next thing would be reviews. So a big thing would be looking up their reviews on Google or Houzz, or just Googling, what other people are saying about this builder. You will probably get frank answers a lot of times from those reviews, right? You'll probably see the pluses and the minuses. And I'll say this, not just for Infinity Homes, but if you see a minus, it'll be interesting to see how that builder responds, right? Because sometimes, like Chris said, things sometimes don't go well every single time.
Correct.
So how does the builder respond when things go bad, when things don't work out exactly how someone would have liked? That's a big feature, I think, on picking a builder.
Absolutely. Getting those reviews is something that you need to look into and just figure out if they're a good fit for you. And then one thing that we like to always point out is check out their website. Does their website look professional? Is it something that more or less shows you the quality of work that they're turning out? Because I think a website really does say a lot about who they are, what they do, and the end product that they're going to turn out for you as the end result client. And so just go check out their website. Most builders that do a good quality job, they have a lot of good content on their website. They've got good photos. They've got tons of before and afters, or they've got progress pictures throughout the process. And so it's really easy for you to understand once you check out their website, man, these guys have a lot going on and they're turning out some good quality stuff. And that's one thing that I think a lot of people discount is if you aren't checking out their work, it's really hard for you to know whether or not they're going to be a good fit for you.
Yeah, I think website is important as well. You know, hopefully that person is trying to educate you on what their process is like, what the building process in general is like. So they'll have a lot of blogs, a lot of educational material to help you make an informed decision.
Absolutely.
All right, the last one that we always ask is, can I look at your current project? I think that's super important that they can give you a list of current projects that they're building and allow you to go walk through those projects, no matter what the stage of that project is. Ideally, you'd like to see a project that is in the middle of building right now. A lot of times we all only see the end work, but there is a lot that goes before you get to that end product. And seeing a current project and how that's going on location, seeing that it's clean, organized, that it looks like people are there, you know, doing work, and it's progressing well. If you go a couple times and seeing that, hey, things are actually moving like you would think so during a project, those are all key factors, I think, in choosing a builder.
Absolutely. And you got to get a feel for what they're doing, right? As far as work-wise, the quality, the types of styles that they can accommodate and do. And then also, it gives you the opportunity just to see where they are building, what areas they're in, what neighborhoods they have available that they could possibly build for you. So these are all questions that we get on a daily basis from a lot of our clients, family, friends, and so we just wanted to address these questions so that way you guys have some arsenals for whenever you go on your hunt to build a custom home. And we wish you guys the best of success. We hope you'll refer back to this video and use these questions to interview any builder, but we truly hope that you'll give us the opportunity to answer these questions for you. Please give us a call and reach out to us, and we'd love to have that discussion with you.